56 kilometers from Bilaspur is a wildlife sanctuary mostly unexplored, where you also have a place to rest. The rest house was constructed by the British in the year 1911. It is a multifaceted biodiversity hotspot with a plethora of flora ranging from sal, fig, tendu, amla, chind, various climbers and medicinal plants like tikhur, along with unbelievable fauna. It is a glimpse of life in this paradise over an year. Monsoon is over. Major roads have been repaired. Villages of the sanctuary would now have contact with the rest of the world, from which they were cut off for almost 4 months. Undergrowth is heavy and it is time of plenty for everybody, whether it is birds, animals or insects. The monsoon vegetation is in full bloom and forest flowers with their brilliant colors are everywhere. Water flows down every rivulet. It is a feast for driftwood lovers. The wildlife visibility is poor, but this time of the year, forest is full of natural wonders. The colorful landscapes, valleys, sunsets and sunrises are a treat to the eyes. Among these natural wonders, few prominent landmarks of the sanctuary stand out. Raksha Chak is a beautiful waterfall deep inside the forest along its southwestern edge. Maiko Gond, fire watcher of Bindaval village, was killed at this spot by a man-eating tigress. The tigress was subsequently shot by Range Officer M.W.K. Khokhar on 13th of April 1949. Mendri Sarai, the grand old sarai tree, is worshipped in folklore. Though now dead, it still stands proudly. Its girth at ground level is almost 26 feet. Mahamai, a small place of worship over a hill, is revered by simple folks of the sanctuary. Gadadwari is an old archaeological monument still clouded in mystery. The Pandavas are supposed to have stayed here during their Agyatwas. Maniyari, the lifeline of sanctuary, and other smaller rivulets still flow with clear water. All the water holes are full. Sinhaval Sagar, the origin of Maniyari river, is overflowing. Pandwani near Gadadwari is the major source of water north of Maniyari. Saraipani is a major water source in the core area. Diyabar, the only source of water in summer months for fauna of Lamni range, is full to the brim. Life sap water is everywhere. It is time to rejoice for birds as well. With the beginning of cool season, the wildlife visibility improves. One might come across small herds of gaur, cheetal, and sambar deer along morning and evening drives. Most of the roads are still not motorable, but the landscapes have enough to make you long for it. Egrets are almost everywhere, as are pond herons. Open-bill storks can be observed in larger water bodies. They are locally migratory depending on the monsoon. Grey herons are uncommon. Cotton teals migrate from Central Asia. This grey wagtail has come from Himalayan Tarai, while sunbirds are local. Yellow wagtail is a winter visitor. Red-wattled lapwings are common. Spotted doves are beautiful local birds. This jungle fowl is alarmed but not frightened. He is proud of his colorful appearance and apparently is more worried about his pack of hens. Paddy has been harvested, and it is time to make merry for the villagers as well. The music, steps, and beats are simple, but Baiga dance is a treat to be witnessed. White wagtails have arrived from Tarai. It is cool, and this cuckoo shrike, a bird of prey, has selected a vantage perch for basking and keeping an eye on its territory. Forest wagtails are winter visitors from Terai. Even open-bill storks like a good sun bath, as well as horned herons. Egrets like the sun. This black stork flew when disturbed. Ducks like it more. The black ibis appears to enjoy the sun. The mornings are chilly. The winter chill, morning mist and fog give rise to some breathtaking scapes. The nights are foggy and slippery. Driving becomes tricky. With the onset of winter, it is time to plant mustard in the fields. Planting is okay, but harvesting is a different proposition altogether. Chilam Singh last year lost all his crops to the herbivores. There is a lot to learn from the attitude towards life of Chilam Singh.
राम सिंह वहाँ भी गंवार, यहाँ अलग गंवार, एक कोंटा में अलग गंवार, एक कोंटा में अलग, इधर अलग, अलग अलग पहाड़ी से अलग अलग गंवार हैं सारे, कहीं न कहीं एक ही झुंड नहीं। हाँ पूरा जंगल भर है गंवार।
कैसे झुंड आते थे?
अरे कोनो समय 20, 25, 10, 12 ऐसे
एक एक झुंड में।
हाँ बहुत परेशानी है, क्या करें सर, अब नहीं देखो तो नहीं बचे ना।
तो अब जब फसल गंवार चीतर खा डाले तो तय क्या खाया फिर साल भर?
भाई के जुच्छा के जुच्छा।
Keeping a night-long vigil on the fields to protect the crops in bitter cold for weeks or a couple of months every day is physically draining. The machan has to be a good one for protection from cold and animals as well. fire helps. A slip of few hours and everything may be gone. Besides, their milk animals fall prey to the carnivora. The compensation paid by Forest Department is at best inadequate. Gaur are everywhere. They come down from the surrounding hills in herds of various sizes. They make a lot of noise and are easy to detect. But cheetal are smaller, faster, make less noise and are a menace. They even raid the fenced areas. Protecting the crops from herbivora is a tough task. And if you have bright ideas of planting tubers or groundnuts, there are enough of wild boar to make your life miserable. There are others as well to claim their fair share. Scavengers and opportunistic hunters follow the herbivora. Drive across Maniari is most of the times difficult, but one does not mind it as wildlife visibility improves. Peacocks at dusk are majestic, as are spotted deer in the evening sun. We were fortunate to examine a kill deep inside the forest. The drag marks and splashes of blood were evident, as was the kill. It was partially eaten. The killer pugs were there where he had rested. We knew the killer would return for another meal, but a night-long wait was not fruitful. Cats are wary and suspecting. The claw marks on a nearby tree were a testimony that it was his regular beat, and the fresh droppings was a sign that he is not far off. Small herds of gaur are generally shy of vehicles. Crow pheasants are a sight to watch, as are small brown doves. Tree pie and hoopoe make their first appearances. In the morning sun, this pair of black ibises is busy feeding. Black drongos are happy. White wagtails have not yet returned to their summer homes. This falcon has found a perfect perch and a lapwing appears worried about it. A kill has been abandoned and scavengers are having a field day. This pond heron has acquired a full meal for the day. At a morning tea stop, we found sparrows loving their images in the back view mirror of our vehicle. With the onset of February, the forest canopy starts changing its color, but the scapes are excellent. The ground cover also diminishes. Sudden change from green to dull green and yellow is fascinating. Fortunately, bamboos in this forest don't flower and fruit simultaneously. They fruit and die out sequentially. The yellow and brown of bamboo and other vegetation is dotted with green of sal. Days are getting warmer, but the new foliage has bright colors. Herds of gaur are numerous. It is better to keep a respectable distance. The bulls are really massive, and the brute power they radiate is enormous. The herd has evidently just passed. The dung is food for lesser creatures. Nothing goes waste in the scheme of nature. By the beginning of March, the deciduous vegetation has shed its foliage and the floor is littered with dry leaves. This sleeping tiger, one warm March morning, did not like the approaching vehicle. But we at once knew why he is the Lord. Indian silk cotton or seman is in full bloom and provides food to a lot of creatures including flower peppers. This is the time of the year when some birds are better heard than seen, like tree pies, woodpeckers, brain fever bird, and racket-tailed longwood. Many trees are without foliage, hence bird sighting also improves. Green pigeons, blue rock pigeons are common, as are jungle fowl, Indian robin, and white-breasted munias. Blackwing kite is a predator, and this one has found a perfect perch. Ground vegetation is sparse and red spur fowls are commonly seen. Their calls are musical. A calf was killed at the edge of the village and killer could not possibly drag it away. Scavengers are busy. Some have had their fill. This family of white scavenger vultures appears to be waiting for their turn, while a few whitebacks and crows are still at it, though not much is. This is mating season for spotted deer, and the scare reverberates with their mating calls. The forest is now almost bone dry, and the ground is littered with dry leaves. This is a dangerous situation. The water holes are rapidly drying up, and water remains only in a few holes. Sardapani is one such place, buzzing with activity. Such a dry ground floor can erupt into a fire anytime. Most of these are natural, but human cause cannot be excluded, especially just before the time to collect tendu leaves. With forest all around on fire, the animals are also jittery. Aesthetically, a fire may look good, and it is a sight to watch at night. But in reality, it leaves death and devastation in its trail. The scheme of nature is, however, such that death for some might mean life for others. This blue jay makes a swift dive to collect its meal of a disturbed insect. Sihaval Sagar is the only place in the region to observe common fish eagle and grey-headed fish eagle. They also need to have a drink once in a while. like paddy birds, racket-tailed rongos, tree pies, and woodpeckers. Small blue kingfisher has caught hold of a fish and is busy with himself. Most of the birds of prey have a favorite perch to oversee their command area, just as this crested serpent eagle. Practically all water holes have a beehive nearby, and one has to be cautious of them. This gaur herd is moving towards the water hole after a long, hot day. They are not worried about our vehicle. Having a drink and quenching the thirst is a priority. They make a lot of typical gaur noise while moving. We decided to stay a little away from the water hole and let them have their drink in peace. Gaur have had their fill, and now it is the turn of racket-tailed rongos, tree pies, and others. A few hundred feet away, this pair of summer does is alert. They have heard the alarm calls of spotted deer. This langur has also heard the calls, but is not sure of the reason for the call. Half a kilometer away, these deer graze peacefully. At last, the sentinel langur has seen the Lord, and the whole silence is shattered by their alarm calls. He has seen the king and clinges to the tree for his dear life. It's a pair. They have seen us, and they part company to approach the water hole from different directions. Egrets have started getting into breeding plumage. They feed on insects which move with the stamping hooves of cattle. Karra fruits have fallen. They are good food for the spotted deer. With the first rains, termites come out. But they also are food for others. Clouds are getting together. bound to rain, and monsoon is round the corner. Get caught in a storm, the best thing to do is to head for the nearest tar road, and that too fast before you get stuck. Water collects in small ponds with rain. Soon, Manyari starts flowing again, as do other rivers. Ground would be soon covered with lush green grasses and other vegetations. Monsoon brings with it various shades of green. This sanctuary and the surrounding forest feeds the three major dams Khutaghat, Dhongha and Khudiya of the district. Along with river Arpa and Manyari. These constitute the economic lifeline of the region. The economic benefits of this forest have not been properly documented. There was a time when herds of swamp deer, elephants and wild buffaloes were common, while cattle today pose a serious threat to the remaining wildlife and forest. Accidents are common. Those who can have migrated to the cities. But in spite of everything, the forest still has enough to fulfill the needs of all except human greed. It is our responsibility that the posterity does not hold the present generation responsible for the destruction of this paradise.